Everybody, good afternoon and good evening. It's a pleasure for me to meet you again once more, and we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. We all feel the pinch, we all been affected, and we're all talking about inflation. That I'm sure I'm not teaching you anything new. But like I usually say to people, it's not about what's happening to you because things are happening to us every day, you know, many and many that we can't actually stop, we can't control. But the main question that I want to ask ourselves, people who are watching us saying that, okay, we know it's happening. So what can we do to have some level of control or maybe to mitigate the effect and to make sure that we can still move ahead? And this is precisely what I want to talk to you in this video. So I want to give you 5 strategies in this video, what you can do as a business owner to sort of, to combat the inflation and to fight back. And I like to have you as well telling me what is that you think you can add to the 5 strategies that I'm gonna be giving you, right? Excellent. And that's what we're gonna be talking about in this video. So stay tuned. Okay, welcome back, guys, and then it's a pleasure to have you again. So, just for you people who don't know me yet, so my name is Tony Teo. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. We are your global clean energy champion, and our job is very simple. In here, we want to talk to you and give you all the information that you need in order to better understand this industry, clean energy, renewable energy. We want to make it seamless for you. We want to decode it for you, right? That's what it's all about. So we just want to make sure that by the end of the video, when you leave it, say, okay, this is one of the things that I have understood. We want to demystify it. So who are we talking to? So we're talking about people that could be investors and saying that I have a lot of money, I have a pot of cash, I'm sitting on, right? And I like to deploy into the sector, but I'm missing some crucial information for me to know what is the right thing to do. In here, you find all the information that you want. And in fact, there are already many videos that we've published so far that you can look at. And I'm pretty much certain that there's one of the things that you will learn. Or you could tell me that I am a professional, right? So I want to jump into the sector. I come from banking, I come from insurance, so I come from medicine, but I like to find a way to get involved because what's happening, it's obviously of great importance for me, and I want to participate because I could see how we can actually tap into the green growth, right? So same thing. In this platform, you'll find the right information for you. Or lastly, you're a business owner, especially if you're a business owner, this video that I'm doing precisely today should be helping you because I'm sure, like many other people, you're actually struggling to contain that inflation and you sometimes don't know what to do. So I'm just going to share with you 5 strategies that I plan as well for myself, for my company, that could be of a benefit for you. And if you like it, so there's only one thing, 3 things that I'm asking you to do. The first is definitely to like the video. Definitely do that. You like it. The second thing, you comment it. And the third thing is you share it, right? So if you can do that, so that'd be great because we have the pleasure to be broadcasting on 5 platforms today. And then on those 5 platforms, as I say, so you able to connect with us. So we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have Twitter, right? All those platforms, you are able to connect and reach out to us, right? So that's great. So now coming back into the topic of today. So by the way, if you haven't signed up yet, or maybe comment yet, or share yet, now is the time to do so. It's the right time to do so, right? Excellent. So the reason I wanted to do this video today is very simple, right? So we all know that this is something that we all feeling, we all can suffer from by the inflation. But the biggest problem is most of the time people feel powerless. They don't know how to react, and they don't know that there's actually a couple of things here and there that they can do to contain the effect and to make sure that they can mitigate it and find a way for them to move forward. And that's the reason I wanted to share that. And I definitely understand how you feel. Understand how you feel because I'm a business owner. And even before being a business owner, I live in this planet. And like you, I can see all the events that are affecting you, affecting me, affecting everybody. and I could feel it as well. I definitely can tell that I could feel it, both from a personal point of view, from a professional point of view, from family point of view. I was, for example, talking to my mother 2 days ago, and she was telling me how much obviously things have increased this last year, and how much obviously it's difficult for her. She's retired. Obviously, she's a dentist. She's retired, and then yeah, so it's making life quite difficult. And obviously, so I had to find ways to give us some ideas of what you could do. That's what I'm saying here. Okay, so if I'm able to do that with the family, why not have a video where we can actually all talk about that, and I can share with you some of the strategies that I believe could be useful for you, right? And that would be good. So basically, and as you will know, so if you've been following me on those videos for a long time now, you know that obviously I've been around for a little while now, at least in the renewable energy sector. So more than 10 years in this industry before I work into the automotive. And I've been involved with, like I say, many businesses, many investors, many situations so far. So like in the small history that I have. And there's one or two things that you've learned. And also the other thing is actually is I'm humble enough to recognize that I have had a lot of mentors, right? And I've done a lot of courses here and there, and that sort of allowed me to have, let's say, a broader perspective of what things or how things are looking at and what's happening. And also, I could see that's maybe the simple thing to do. Just see what other successful people have done. People that are much more successful than me, right? See that what they have done, what they're advising, and then I could see, okay, maybe there's one or two things that they're doing at the moment that I could pick up from, right? So, and that's what I'm saying. What I'm doing, what I thought about doing the video today. I simply wanted to share that and get your perspective, yeah, and hopefully that will be interesting for you to see. So 1 second, yeah. So, but before I dive into that, just as usual, I like to always start by sharing a couple of stats, right? That can inform us. And those stats, so it's sort of giving us an idea of how, let's say, bad or how concerning the situation could be. And then, yeah, so give us at least some perspective, right? I usually like to do it. So this is what I'm going to be doing today. So I have two graph that I want to share very quickly, and after that we can have a discussion, and then we can move on with the strategies that I want to share with you. So let me just allow to share my screen for a second, and then I should be okay. Yeah, share screen. Excellent. That's fine. Window. Yep. And I can go. Yep. Okay, good. So you can certainly see the screen, and what is showing, it's basically that's coming from McKinsey report, right, or McKinsey article, and it's talking about the inflation as of June 2022. As you can see, it's very recent, and they're looking at the percentage change year on year, right, compared to last year. And clearly, like I say, for they was just saying that some of these countries compete as double, right? And you can see it's a big concern in many countries. We're going from Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, all the way to Japan, right? So definitely everybody's affected. That's is a global phenomenon. It once again showed that we're living in a very globalized world these days, right? So whatever happened on one side, of the planet, of the globe, will find a way to affect the other, right? You can't live in isolation and be thinking that, hey, what's happening to this guy? I'm not concerned. So, and clearly, this picture is showing us the inflation is very much global, as you could as you could see that. So another one that I wanted to share is this graph, right? I shared that, I believe, in one of the posts that I had. I think it was on Friday on LinkedIn, right? And what is showing is actually the spot price for the mono polysilicon in China, right? So that's for a solar, obviously, and you could see how much obviously it's increasing, right? It's going we in February here, where we're talking about what is it, 100? So okay, I think I forgot the RMB. That's kilogram, a kilogram per RMB. Yeah, it goes up. It goes to 100 all the way to almost 300 that it's moving towards. And clearly, that's one thing that the industry have been saying, which is obviously the cost of module is actually increasing, and it's increasing due to many events that's happening currently in the world, and we cannot be ignoring that. And all of that will contribute to basically making the inflation be a little worse, right? So, and that's something that we all could see. And what we see in that, then, as I say, sometimes we feel powerless. We feel like, okay, I don't know what to do. That's too much. So, you just have to either decide to suck it up and say, okay, I wait until it passes. But the thing is, I mean, if you don't pay attention, that can completely derail your business. I can send you down the drain, right? So that's what for me is always a question of, okay, situation happen every day, right? We have it every day, every time of our life. So, but it's always about how do you react, right? How do you react? It's the most important. And when you have this mentality, when you go out and do things like that, definitely you give yourself the best chance of handling all the situation and see what you can do. So I wanted to share with you 5 strategies, right, that I believe could be useful for you, and that I'm doing as well to myself, and yeah, as I say, it could be good for you. So the first thing that I want to share, by the way, as I'm sharing that, just let me know what you think, right? So whether you agree with that, you do not agree with that, feel free to say that, because to say and share, because we having a discussion here, right? Leave a comment, so let me know what you think. So the first strategy that I believe that could be used, it's for you to, I would say, optimize your system, right? Definitely want to optimize your system. What am I talking about here? So basically, usually, because it's all about how can I make sure that I can mitigate the cost that I have, because I think they are costing a lot more. You obviously find a way to minimize your outgoings, right? So you want to review all the system that you have in place, and not just the system, the processes, but also the people, just to sort of have a gathering with the people that you're working with, and have a conversation and see what is that you can improve, how you can optimize things, right? And give you a specific example. It could be, and I think COVID has shown that also. If you know, for example, the cost of transport, it's going quite high, right? So people are traveling. Let's say, for example, I'm running a solar business. I'm a supplier. I need to send. I need to send a couple of my representative, in various forums and around the globe, so that they can promote our brand. Okay, so that's a good thing to do. That's, for example, you can decide that back then, we'll be able to send 5 people to go on a trade show and promote an event. Then you could be saying, so why not? Maybe just send it two, right? And the other two, they're always supporting backwards, right? So, or you could also be, if you're transporting people coming to offices, you can say, okay, some of you just for a period of time, so that we can, especially if as a company you're refunding travel costs, I don't know, as an example, maybe decide that, maybe a couple of days some people can work from home. Those are kind of initiative that you could be taking just to contain your outgoing, your costs, and maintain it, because the idea is, how can I make sure that I can minimize the costs that I'm going to have, knowing that because inflation is happening, it may end up that even with those efforts, I end up spending about the same thing that what I used to spend, without doing as much as I used to do, right? But that's normal, because obviously the cost is going high. You can look at how can you maintain it like that. You can look at that from your people point of view. How can you optimize people way of work, right? Their journey to work. So what is that doing? Stop the waste, or you can optimize other processes, right? That's one thing that you could be doing. So that's one of an idea that helps you to obviously maintain the cost, right? So I would say that's one idea that you want to be looking at, and to see whether it could be successful or not. In our case, for example, so most of the guy in my team, so we first of all working remotely, and because you're working remotely, that's, I think, we don't have to deal too much with the cost of transport, but because we're doing a lot of visit into customers, right? So at times I'm having to weigh that with the team and say, okay, Is it worth it for us to make the trip this time, or maybe wait another time and sort of balance it a little bit so that we can balance the book? So it's a question worth having. So the second strategy that I want to talk to you about, first of all, let me know what you think about that, right? So whether it speaks to you, whether it doesn't speak to you, whether you agree with that, you do not agree with that, just let me know. So the second thing, that's still talking about way of mitigating your costs. I will talk about energy efficiency. Absolutely. More than ever, if this is not something that you were thinking about, now is the time to think about it, right? Because the idea of energy efficiency is to see, for the same energy that you're using, how can you do more, right? Or maybe how can you do the same, or the same that what you're doing right now, but much less energy. And if you're not familiar with that, you gotta know that pretty much any business here that I can think of. So if you look at properly everything they're doing from an energy perspective, your energy usage, you will see that there's always a way to reduce your energy consumption by about 15, 20%, even 25%, or even more, right? So that's what I'm saying, more than ever. And as you know, cost inflation is going up. That's actually driven by a couple of things, right? So clearly we had COVID, that clearly has not helped. We also have the cost of the how was it of coal, gold, and then yeah, commodities. That's because the what I was looking for. Yeah, cost of commodities is going high, right? And that's sort of, especially if you get your oil going up, that would drive pretty much everything up, right? And on top of that, you added as well the conflict that we have between Ukraine and Russia, that obviously led into kind of the food crisis. All of it sort of pushing costs up big time, right? So that's why I'm saying, more than ever. So your energy will be costing a lot more these days, especially if that comes from gas. And I'm sure I'm not teaching you anything new at the moment, right? That's what I'm saying. If you're going to be consuming a lot of energy, so you want to make sure that how you can actually make some savings as well in the way you're using energy, right? Using a lot less. For example, I was reading an article not long it was actually yesterday. It was talking about uh the biggest landlord in Germany, right? Company that has loads of loads of properties, with a lot of tenants. I think there are about more than 1 million tenants. So we're taking some measures sort of to mitigate the use of gas, because Russia was threatening to cut some gas. I think they've cut some gas already. So they were looking to save the amount of gas that they're having, right? So that's one thing. If you haven't thought about that, energy efficiency now more than ever, it's one way for you to look at that. And the good thing about it, so that you know, energy, when you talk about energy efficiency, energy management, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden, immediately, you're going to start installing solar panel if that's what you're scared of, right? If that's what you want to do, great. But in fact, what we even advise before you go into installing any new energy generation system, look at what you're already using. How can you better use it, right? I'll give you another factual, simple example, right? Because I'm an energy manager, by the way. So I know a little bit what I'm talking about because I've seen that with other clients. So even from behavior perspective, there is a lot already that we can do. I give you an example. We all using this fantastic tool that is called a laptop, right? So, and I think I'm guilty of that myself. Sometimes, when we leave office, we leave the room, we're not going to switch off the laptop. We'll let it running. By the way, when you leave it running, keep on ticking. That's how you consume more and more energy, right? So same thing. When you go and want to have you want to have a cup of tea or hot water, whatever, right? So you borrow a kettle. The thing is, you need just that one cup, and you boil it. And you're just going to take just 1/5 of it, even though much less than that, just to fill up your cup, and that's it. And that's all for the whole morning, or maybe for the whole day. And the other time when somebody come and do the same, he again will do the same. So things like that you don't realize, but if you're gonna heat up, that large amount of water, whereby you only need a small cup, think about the energy that is needed, that is used to heat up the full lot, whereby you don't need it, right? So you're consuming energy. So that's what I'm saying. When you become first of all conscious, aware of this, you start realizing how much wastage you're making everywhere. And this is actually how you can actually bring it down. Basically, I'm saying the number one thing you want to do in this kind of situation, just become aware first. And then start, you can get somebody to help you out just to figure out where is that you're wasting money. Start tracking where is that you can make some savings and that start applying that. So energy efficiency will be very, very useful for you to look at. So that's the second thing I want to say. And it's very important because, like I say, cost of living is getting high, and that could trigger all sort of situation. I talked to you about early on when I had I showed a graph showing the cost of monosilicon, right, in China, that was going up, and also showed the image showing the inflation. That has some severe consequences. You look at, for example, you're following the news, I'm sure. So you would have heard about what happened in Sri Lanka, right? Whereby you have the crowd that sort of stormed the presidential palace, right? And the president has to run away, yeah, and even announcing later on that he was gonna resign on the 13th of July, and also the prime minister saying they was offering to resign. That's obviously without stepping too much in the situation, because I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in Sri Lanka politics. Definitely not. But one thing I know is definitely the inflation, the current situation has seriously contributed to creating that sense of unhappiness, among, right? So, and that's what I'm saying. This is something that take into account carefully. That's why I'm saying that just don't just look at that, being powerless. Look at what you can do to mitigate it and makes it better. So that's what I'm saying. Number one, definitely look at how you're optimizing basically your system. Whether you want to look at how you optimize the way your people work, the processes that you're having, your system. What can you do? The second thing is mitigating the cost. It's about energy efficiency. How can you be more energy efficient? And to see how that can help your business. Hopefully, up until now, that helps, right? Please, please, please. If you have a question, I like to see one of your questions, and I like to see what you are thinking at the moment. Because as I say, maybe what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you at all, but maybe it does, right? And if it does, I like you to let me know whether it does make sense or not, right? So let's move on. So I want to talk to you about another free point. I'm going to be a little faster because I can see that I spent too much time talking about energy efficiency, probably because that's an area, as I say, where a lot more competence, and that's obviously I'm kind of very interested in, and I sort of get lost into it when I start talking about it. So the other thing would be to sort of change your messaging. Yeah, it may sound a bit surprising for you to hear that, but what I'm saying, so if you are a business, right? So usually what I say, as a business, you don't make yourself rich. Your customer make yourself rich. So you should always think about how are they feeling. So what are so how what where are they at the moment? So what is the mood at the moment, right? So that means you can't just have the exact same messaging the way you communicate with them. You can't just, so you need to adapt it and adjust it, right? You need to put yourself into their mind to understand how they feel and adjust your thinking. For example, I had a lot of letters that I received for energy supplier, for example, so and various kind of service provider that we have send us email say, okay, or even the bank saying that, hey, we're not at the moment, inflation is doing this and that. So here is a couple of good links, a tool that you could be tapping into to help you to go through this phase, or maybe yeah. So if you want to talk about it because you're afraid this can affect, this or this service, feel free to reach out to us. Why are they doing it? They're simply doing that because they know that, I'm concerned by it. Just like, thousand other customers that they have concerned by it. And they want to show that, hey, we are by your side. You understand what's happening. And we're prepared to discuss and talk to you. They sort of want to prevent, right? Sort of a tricky situation because they want to find a way for them to keep their revenue coming. So they need to talk to me, engage with me, right? So there's no reason why you as a business will not be doing the same, right? whether you are I don't know, a solar supplier, whether you are a wind turbine supplier, whether you are an independent power producer. So adjust your messaging and don't just go through this phase not communicating at all to the customer. That's not something that I recommend that you do, right? So that would be the third step that I want. So the fourth step, yeah, would be in relation to what I've just said. So what can you do as a nice gesture to your customer so that they can see that you really, you know, are with them? Because most of the time people say, yeah, our customer are number one priority, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't just say that. You should demonstrate it so people could see. So that means in moment like now where people are struggling, how can you show them that you are by their side? What can you do for them, right? It could be, for example, if you were meant to increase your tariff, right? You take the executive decision to postpone it by 6 months, by a year, or something like that. Because you say you're not saying that you won't do it, you may postpone it. Maybe just postpone it and over the next 2 years, increasing a little more, right? But for now, do the nice gesture. That's something that a customer would appreciate, right? And would remember. That's what I'm saying. Don't just say, "Hey, we are by your side." Show it, demonstrate that you are by the side, and yes, they will appreciate they will appreciate it. So that's something that you could do. This is within your power to do. And the question that I'm asking you, are you doing it? Especially if you're in a business, are you doing it at the moment? So if you're not doing it, why would you not do it? You may be saying, yeah, but I can't afford it. Yes, that's fine, but you can't also afford to lose your existing customer, right? Existing customer is far easier to keep up business with them and potentially to sell them another service, provide another service, than to lose them and go and get some new one. To what you want to do, yes, you want to protect your costs, but mitigate your costs, but you want to make sure you also want to protect your revenue. Yeah. So, and one way to protect your revenue, looking at where are they coming from, those revenue? How can I already engage with this guy? Keep them with me, make a gesture so that if you are thinking about leaving, because the thing is, if you put yourself into the mind of your customer, so how are they thinking? So we all struggling with inflation, right? So that means we all going to be reviewing our costs, right? We're all going to be reviewing most likely our contract, right? And if there are some where we're not that happy about, right, we may decide to jump ship, yeah. Or maybe if I know that okay, there's one guy who's going to increase this, increase that, I may not be happy about that at the moment because I don't need it at this moment. Or maybe I'm expecting everybody to increase the price so that if all of a sudden somebody say no, actually I'm just gonna keep it because I understand what you feel. I'm gonna be, oh, that's actually interesting. Actually, he's showing that he has some kind of considerations here. He's showing some heart here. So I may want to stick with him for longer, right? That's what you can do. You can maybe decide that, hey, listen, we not gonna imagine you had a customer contract that was gonna run out. I'm making this up, obviously, right? I'm just giving it an idea like that. Maybe it makes it, maybe it doesn't. Let's say a customer that was gonna contract that was gonna run out. Let's say in the next 2 months, right? So, but as normally what you do, you renew it. You may be saying, okay, so we're not gonna increase our tariff, right? Providing you're able to renew now for another 12 months. So that means you don't need to wait all of sort of for the 2 months as you would normally do to increase and to renew it. You renew it right now, and basically you secure business. At least you're kind of protecting the revenue that you already have. And postpone it, maybe the increase by 6 months. I don't know, but you need to give it a gesture, nice gesture, so that your customer know that yes, this is true. This guy, this girl, they're really with me, and they really have my best interest in their heart. Okay, great. What are you thinking about this? Yeah. So I'm not seeing any comments at the moment. So normally there's a couple of comments. So does it all make sense for you? Are you a little bit lost with what I'm saying? I know it's not too technical today. I didn't want to keep it technical. Those are ideas. We're talking about money here. How can you contain it? Yeah. So, and like I say, so as a business owner, I know how you're feeling. Yeah. So even if you're not business owner, I know how I'm feeling. I'm just saying, I just thought, okay, I may want to share some ideas here if that could help some of you to obviously go past this period, right? So yeah, so hopefully that's okay. So drop me a comment whether now, preferably, or later on when you look at that and then you have something you want to share. So the last thing that I want to share, which is number 5, so which may sound counterproductive, but it would actually be you guys to promote more. Yes, you should promote more, not less. I know we all of you will be very much tempted. Yeah, will be tempted to promote less because okay, Tony, you said that you wanna maintain your cost, and then yeah, I essentially we just wanna sort of reduce the amount of money I'm spending on the marketing and promotion. So my personal advice would be to do more, not less. Why would you do more? That's a question. Good question. That's where we're in mind because I believe it's sort of a counterintuitive. But for the simple reason that when you go into a period of construction like that, so you have to work a little more, you know, to attract the same number of customers. And also, it's all about getting attention. It's all about people that have obviously been speaking or following me for some time will know that I clearly will say as well that it's about how do you keep in the mind of the customer? How do you make sure that they still remember you? So how do you make sure that your brand is the one they're thinking about when they want to go out and purchase something? Good. Let me tell you one thing. When the customer needs something, he may not buy from you, but he'll buy from somebody. So you'd rather have him buy for you, right? But it starts by him or her remembering that you exist almost constantly. So that all of a sudden, when you think about that, that's fine. Look, when we all want to search something on internet, we don't even think twice. We go to Google. We don't even think anymore. You want to reach out to people. We have Facebook, LinkedIn. If you think about that, that's just a small amount of social networks. But there's loads. Don't only think about those ones. Why? Because that's what we have in mind. So basically, and I'm saying you have to work more to attract the same amount of customer. And also, if you think about that, most of the time your competitors will be retracting, will be promoting less, right? So this is the time for you to promote more so you can get the customer in front of you, right? And if you get the customer in front of you and you're confident that you have a product that is good for him, for her, and bingo. Yeah. So I want to track first of all that it start there. I need the person to be in front of me. I need to attract his attention first. When I attract his attention, then I can talk to him. Then I can tell him why I'm the best out there and why I should even consider other people. But if I can't even first of all go and talk to him, say, okay, just let the customer decide. No, you got to be in front of him. So that when he makes a selection, with a short number of people, and you're part of it. Yeah, if not the only one. So you have to do more. And I'm saying a period like that, you have to work a little more because people are not thinking about going out and purchasing. They're thinking about, you know, maintaining it. But the thing is, they'll pay attention to the people that's making a little bit more noise than other people. So that's what it would be my advice to you. I don't know what you think, but we're going to leave you with that. So that's what I wanted to. I know I can't go for too long because it's already half an hour and I need to go because the weather is beautiful. I need to look after the family. I promise them I'm just going to get them to do something interesting this afternoon. And I want to do that. So I can't spend a little bit more, but definitely, especially on that last point. So I'd be more than happy to discuss more with you. In fact, what we have, because I can't explain all of it now, all of the different steps. So we definitely have an awareness program with renewables in Africa that you may want to look at, right? So if that's the case, what I would say, just definitely make sure that you click on this link that I've just shared here. So you get the information and we can talk more about that. Yeah, that's great. So let me just first of all recap the five the strategy I talked about, right? That could be useful for you to tap into the inflation. So I talked about optimizing your system, very important, both from your people processes point of view. How can you make sure that you minimize the waste there? You get things to work a lot more efficiently. Yeah, so that's great. Energy efficiency, Very important. How can you do more with the energy that you have, or how can you do the same with much less energy? That's the way also that you mitigating your cost. You're not paying too much for energy. I'm sure that's going to help you. So I talked about adapting, changing your messaging, talking to your customer, because you know we're all feeling the pinch, your customers feeling the pinch. How can you communicate with that person, right? So the person know, okay, you really have my interest in your heart, and I appreciate that, and I want to stick with you. Change your messaging. Don't just leave it the same, right? Feeling that okay, so no need to communicate. I won't do that. That's personally what I think. Yeah, because that's a way to start protecting your current revenue. So a gesture, like I say, for your existing customers, right? So don't just say that I care for you. Show it. You can show if you like nice little gesture they can do. Maybe if you have to do tariff an increase for the tariff, you can postpone it a little bit, or you can minimize it, whatever, but do something so that customer can say, okay, they really have me in your heart. Because as well as you want to keep up your cost and mitigate the cost, you also want to protect the revenue that you're having and potentially increase it if you're able to do, or maybe slow down the decrease, right? So whatever way it is, right? That's the way to do it, because we are in an inflation territory, high inflation territory, and some people are going to say the economy is going to contract. So how can you really think? So me as a business owner, that's what I'm thinking already. So what can I do? How can I protect the thing? I just want to let it come, and all of a sudden be faced with it and don't know what to do, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you're thinking ahead, I could help you. And the last thing that I said was, how can you? No, not how can you? You should promote more, because you need to work a little more to attract new revenue, right? Because it's easier to sell when everything is great, right? People are just in the mood of spending. But when we're not in that territory, right, you need to work a little more to see that you can attract few people that come and buy with you, right? So how can you do that? You want to promote a little more, right? And then and yeah, and those are the five things that I have to share with you today. So hopefully that's useful. So if it is, so drop me a comment. That's fine. And yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it for let's say a minute or two to see if there is any comment from people regarding this. So what do you think about that? So is it useful for you? Are you going to apply it? Not apply it? So if you're a business owner, does it speak to you? If you're not a business owner, so can you learn something? Can you advise your boss about it? So yeah, that's one of the things that I want you to share. But I don't see any questions, so I'm assuming that today people are thinking a little too much about what I said. But as long as that was useful for you, that's great. Feel free to reach out to me even afterwards. I have some other questions, and for me, I have nothing else to say. Just say if you want to find out more about how you can promote more, definitely reach out to us through the link that I pasted in the comment box. And then yeah, that's all I have to say for now. So looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday, and between now and then, all I have to say, guys, is may the sun be with you. Thank you. Get better.